Earnings are coming up, things are getting pretty exciting, but what is the future of Tesla, and why is it very, very, very exciting? I'm Brian. Welcome to My Tesla Weekend. Yeah, it's Monday. Yesterday, I had a chance to speak to the Tesla Owners Club of Oregon, and what fun we had. I was asked to record it, see if I could put it up here, and it came out good enough. I'm not super jazzed about it, but it was a good presentation. And by the way, if you've got an event and you need a speaker, I love doing these things. I always bring my own swag to give out too. Yeah, yesterday we did some, I gave out some RC Cybertrucks and some Hot Wheels cars of various Teslas and other electric cars. It was a lot of fun. So with that said, why don't we just get into it? And I did want to say a quick thanks to newest patrons, Sujit, Carla, Andrew, and Jack in Tennessee. Thank you all so much for your decision to support the channel. It is why I'm able to keep going to these events and doing these things and bringing you all the fun. So thank you for that. Let's just see how it went. Thank you, Paul. How is everybody? Beautiful day, sunny. Hi, everybody. So yeah, I don't know if you've heard of this little startup called Tesla, but they're apparently moving a couple units and getting some people excited, even on a Sunday morning, even when you could be anywhere, even here. So who am I? Let's see if this mouse is going to work. Yeah, it is. Nice. So, what are you guys excited about? What's coming? The Cybertruck is coming. It is coming. Now, I started writing this presentation before it was as real as it is today. We'd seen the stampings, or the castings, pretty hard to deny. The people who were saying, it's not coming, it's not coming. Buddy, these are piling up. They're not for fun. We saw parts showing up, actual real material, and by the pallet. We saw this was the pilot line in Fremont. You can tell because it's in a tent rather than a giant concrete building. And then we saw this maybe a week ago. And this is just, proof. We're seeing the bodies pile up. And I think I can say here, and it's being recorded, but I'll just cut this part out. But I know for a fact that the paint shop, that these are moved in to the paint shop, and this whole center section here gets painted, and then the assembly line moves briefly through that part of the factory and back out. And it's all working. All last week they were doing dry runs. All the robots were pretending to paint, but they didn't have enough bodies to paint yet. And we've seen it out testing. But the more exciting thing, now if you look very closely in the middle here, you will notice a Cybertruck. It's very well hidden. I thought the camouflage was ridiculous until I saw it in the snow, and I'm like, no, actually that's good. And then we saw this yesterday, 1 o'clock in the morning. And it was great. The people who are not excited about Tesla have said that this is too many people for building a car. And they have also said it's not enough people for building a car. So I don't know, whatever it is, it's that. And this is coming. It's coming in quick. Anything else exciting going on? Model 3 Highland refresh. I've heard a couple people say, this is not real, it's not coming. We know it's coming, we know it's real, not just because it's overdue, it's definitely overdue, but because we've seen it testing. We've seen it out and about. And drone footage from China has captured it. Again, still with the shirt on, but you get the idea. And I have seen parts for it. I've seen the physical printed orders, and I have seen parts. And my favorite part that's coming is a new Prindle. Anybody know what a Prindle is? Park reverse neutral drive. It's the display that you would normally see on your steering column. They're adding one right above your mirror. So when you go to back up and you think you're in reverse, but you're not, right there you can see it. You can see I am in the wrong gear, because the stocks are going away. So another thing that's exciting, that I'm excited about, for people who've been watching my channel a while, they know I love to count squares as progress is made and factories are built. And I'm gonna get counting this real soon. So what we got here is Giga Mexico. Nah, we can do better than that. Giga Nueva Leon, now we can do better. Gigante Mexico, sí, claro, much better, okay. This is gonna be big. The compact car, for those who don't know, is of a much more simplified design. All the pieces are put together before the whole car is put together. It's less steps, it's more sub-assemblies, and it's gonna move real quick. We already know about, instead of 170 pieces for the back end, for the stamping, it's just one piece. And you know what, since we've got that one piece, why don't we put the seats on it before we attach it to the battery? So it's gonna be a whole new philosophy that just makes sense. And where are we at with that? I believe the design is finished because they wouldn't start building the factory without the finished design, or something close to it. And Franz has said that the next vehicle is the one he is most proud of in his career. And we've also heard from the governor that permits are approved, or as close to approved as they need to be to get started. And if you can get a factory built in Berlin in 2 years, come on. So the question on the Highland is not if, but when. Or not the Highland, the compact. The question is not if, the question is when. When are we gonna see it? Because that's what I'm excited about. Okay, I'm more excited about the building, but the answer is not until the last minute, because it's gonna be cheap, it's gonna be amazing, and it's gonna make every other car look expensive and dumb. So I think, unlike the past years where we've seen these announced years in advance, I think the lead time is gonna be a whole lot shorter. Because a lot of people wouldn't buy a Model 3 or Y if they saw something that was really exciting. So on the compact, how low can you go? Anybody done the math to see how cheap the $25,000 car would be? Because, you know, a lot of people do qualify for the $7,500 tax credit. Not everybody. We don't know how long it's going to last. But there are also, and all Teslas currently qualify for it. No reason to think the next one wouldn't, unless the $25,000 car ends up being $56,000. I think that's not going to happen. And there are also all kinds of local incentives that can make it cheaper still. So one example was the Owners Club of San Joaquin Valley shared this. This is just state incentives. You can get up to $14,750 off just on the state incentives. Now, I wouldn't consider this a normal number. That's a pretty outrageously high number. And I can't imagine you would be getting the low income rebate in addition to the $7,500. It'd be an either or. But even Colorado has like a $10,000 incentive. Oregon briefly had an incentive until it was exhausted. So what's it going to cost? Well, we hope it's going to be $25,000. We hope you'll get $7,500 on your federal incentive. State incentive, hit and miss, different states, let's say $5,000. It's a $12,000 car. How many of those are you going to sell? So when I said the future is exciting, how many $12,000 Teslas could you sell? You're not going to be able to sell anything else. Especially if, my pet theory has always been that it'll be a platform car where they build one platform and several variants. Now, Tesla doesn't like doing that. It's too much work. We're not going to make 5 different cars. No. Shanghai will make one. Berlin will make one. Mexico will make one. So you can have the hatchback, you can have the city car, you can have whatever. And for the Chinese market, you might just have a little city car. And if you want that one here, we can import it for a price. Those would be really neat little collector cars for people to have. And you could bring them in by the absolute boatload. And they would be, for real, about 12 grand. You know how long it's been since $12,000 would buy you a car of any serious quality? I mean, it's like Chevy Spark is what I'm thinking of. And this is not going to be a Chevy Spark. We still got Megapacks. We know how those are going. They've got a factory that turns them out faster than anybody in the world. And it's only one factory, and it's still ramping up. Each one of these costs over $2 million, weighs 82,000 pounds, and there's a 2.5-year backlog. of orders. So these are only going to get bigger. They save everyone a ton of money, and they just work. They don't work for every utility yet, but the price will come down, and as it does, it'll work for more utilities, more businesses. Every hospital will have these for their immediate backup power system, and those hospitals can use it to arbitrage power back to the grid night and day using just the top 20% of their range. So, because I want to keep this under 3 hours, because I could go all day, the next fronts in the war that make Tesla so exciting are too many to cover. FSD. Anybody got FSD beta? Of course, I'm in this room. Dojo. I would tell you more about it, but I can't understand it. I've watched all the videos repeatedly and I do my best, but I'll be honest about my weaknesses. The charging standard. The war of charging standards has ended. The next front in that is moving to South America, where there is no established charging network. It is going to become not the North American charging standard, but the America's charging standard, I guess. And then the Semi, which is a very exciting product, and it is ramping. And then just yesterday, we saw, that you can't sell American semis in Europe. They're too long. Well, it turns out they made a shorter one. It looks like that. So that means the only place you can't sell a Tesla Semi right now is Australia because they're 2 inches too wide. And that was a protectionist law they put in to protect local semi builders who no longer exist. So the question is, do we want to change our rules by 2 inches or just only buy Chinese semis? So that is kind of where it's at. That's where these are all the things I'm excited about. And I guess I would ask what you guys are excited about, but first I would ask you to ask. Oh wait, that's not the slide. Oh, I'm almost there. There we go. Anybody have any questions? We did a pretty lengthy Q&A after this. I had a good 10 minutes to answer questions, and we got some great ones in there. But if you have questions, you can just ask them. I don't mind answering. You'll notice I'm in the comments a fair amount. I like my community. I actually do, so that's kind of cool. So what did I miss? What did I misunderstand? Let me know in them comments below. Subscribe, like, do all the usual things. Stay tuned. Stay juicy, and I can't wait to hear from you clever robots, maybe the next time I go somewhere and do something fun.